wellness, and soul-forward living. Join your host, Jess Juntinen, quantum healer, intuitive, and midwife to the awakening spirit, as we dive into quantum tools, wisdom teachings, and integrated healing pathways for transformation. You can live a life of freedom to be without limitation. Cozy up, grab your tea, and enjoy this hour of expansion, wisdom, and love. Namaste, hello, and welcome. I am Jess Juntinen, your grateful and sincerely joyful host today to be here with you at this lunch hour Soul Fusion Cafe every Tuesday at noon Eastern here on Oneness Talk Radio. Oneness Talk Radio is streaming at, of course, onenesstalkradio.com, Oneness Talk Radio Facebook, and Oneness Talk Radio at YouTube. And please click the like and subscribe button if you're catching us at YouTube, or go over there and just do a search and like and subscribe, because we really are offering so many programs, so many shows that are absolutely sincerely wonderful for you to enjoy, experience, thrive, connect, and grow. So today, I thought it would be incredible to dive into the topic of consciousness in the 9 to 5 world. And it's just such a good topic because so many of us, most of us, are having to navigate being in dual worlds, right? Being in both the knowing that we are conscious beings, that we are more than this body, yet at the same time, having to navigate a world of form where you may have a 9 to 5 job or other typical, kind of work that you have to go and do. And, and not just work, right? It's, anything that we have to do and navigate this world of rules and forms and time and all of those adjustments and things that we really must make and take into I guess our awareness as we navigate the day, right? That we are drifting around, having to navigate all kinds of relationships and experiences that really are offering us a sense of disillusion, right? It is the illusion out there. And it can be very tricky to navigate and to actually not become hypnotized by it. And sometimes we do. Sometimes we do become hypnotized. Sometimes we do become lost in it. Forgive yourself. That's why we have Oneness Talk Radio and shows that are here on this network, to offer you that opportunity to connect to something that's outside of that sphere of density and the illusion, to help you remember who you really are, because the hypnosis is so very strong out there in the world, and beautiful day to you over at Facebook land. I'm seeing people popping in at Facebook and over at YouTube. Hello, it's beautiful to see you, Angel. Thank you for tuning in. I just love that you're always here with your positive, lovely spirit, and Jill as well, Pauline, and hey, happy birthday, it looks like, to Angel. That's awesome. And, I love our community. I love the chat, so I like to pop over there and see what's happening. And the way that everyone supports and loves each other at this network is absolutely a miracle. It really is. So, yeah, big, awesome show today. Diving in. What's your experience? What is your experience of navigating this world of form while remembering you're an ascended being? And if that just sounds crazy to you, like, how am I an ascended being, right? Then you are in the right place, Sometimes people pop in that have never even considered these topics before, and welcome. I welcome your questions in the chat. I welcome you to share your experiences. And if you've been around a while or understand some of these concepts and language, hey, welcome back. I love seeing our beautiful community here, new and old alike. And we are all remembering together, we're all journeying together. While I'm sitting here, what's really speaking to me, I have a few things going on that I'm so excited about. I am on my brand new monitor in my workspace, and in one of my workspaces, I've got several because I like to change it up. But this will be my more, I think, permanent arrangement, and I'm still kind of working on my desk, but it's so exciting. And then, I had an awesome new um, laptop setup I got. It had a much smaller screen than my old laptop, and I decided I really need the monitor. And it's kind of funny how long it took me to actually uh, make it happen. And it wasn't even out of the sense that I had to manifest it for myself or anything. I had the means. So it's always an interesting moment of divine mastery presence. What and me invited this to be, but it's so exciting to be connecting with you guys from this new workspace and the monitor and the wireless keyboard and all these things. But what's awesome is that under my wireless keyboard, I was kind of like propping it up a little. And of course, I grabbed the I Am Discourses was the book that was on my desk, and it was propping my little keyboard up as I'm trying to figure out the best height to have that at, and I have to get a little stand for that as well. And because it was here though and calling my attention under the keyboard, I feel like I want to just open it up and read an excerpt. And actually what I opened right up to comes from when we did the I Am discourses as part of Monday Magic with Shri and Kira. Those of you that have been on that journey uh, know what I'm referring to. And some of you, if you don't know, Monday Magic is now called Mastery Presence Monday. And it's on the second and fourth Monday every month. So we'll be getting together next Monday, believe it or not. That will be the fourth Monday of the month. I'm like almost double checking myself, but I'm pretty sure that's actually the case because we didn't meet this week. And that means August is going up. So we started these Monday Magics with Shri and Kira. And if you're not familiar with them, they're incredible. Check out official Shri and Kira YouTube. Check their show out here at Oneness Talk Radio. Go to their website. If anything I'm sharing resonates, it's because of the blessing of them and their teachings of the yoga of self-ascension. So what popped open was an excerpt from the I Am Discourses, the Saint Germain. And this passage, we actually read this in every lesson when we first were like unlocking the I Am Discourses. It's not going to show up with this screen background for you. Ever down through the centuries have the majority of mankind given their attention to the outer appearances, thereby inviting all kinds of discord and distress. But today, there are thousands who are coming to understand the God presence within themselves, and absolutely invincible to the extent that they are steadily being raised above the injustice, discord, and inharmony of the outer creation. Until mankind or individuals hold their attention on the I Am presence, God within, long enough and with sufficient determination, they will find themselves surrounded by the undesirable. But through this I Am presence, each one has the power to raise himself above the discord and disturbance of the outer creation. All right. That is incredible. I'm going to have to like go in and dissect this a bit. But, today's topic being consciousness in a 9 to 5 world, that we were just discussing about, how to step outside of that zone of influence that density and the illusion offers, and to open up to this passage that was part of the Monday Magic I Am discourses back when we started this, when COVID came through. I think this might have been where we went next after the Bhagavad Gita. I'm not entirely sure, but it was early on in the Monday Magic series. Ooh, excuse me. um, so we're talking about stepping out of the illusion, and here's this incredible quote that we received every week when we studied that for 12 weeks, that the divine presence of Saint Germain itself really wanted to be brought forward. And it obviously wanted to be brought out today. Ever down through the centuries, the majority of, I would say, humankind has given their attention to the outer appearances, right? We have always been looking at the outer, like invested in what we see around us as being the reality. All of our senses experience it. Mm-hmm. We see, touch, feel, sense, know, and it is, way beyond anything that sorry, I'm going to turn my phone buzzer off. It's way beyond anything for us to have considered that there's more beyond that, other than the sages and mystics and in the old times and energies when portals were open and people were more aware of these things. But for a long time, people have been hypnotized, right? So for many centuries, humans have been paying attention to the outside. What does everything appear to be outside of me? That must be my reality, right? So, it's like they share here, thereby inviting all kinds of discord and distress. Because when we are invested in the illusion as the reality and give all of our energy to the outer appearance, we're out of our empowered center. We are not in our divine multidimensional presence. We are very much in the energy of the illusion. And there's a lot of distress that comes from that, in believing in the illusion. When they say, but today there are thousands who are coming to understand the God presence within themselves. I think that number has grown. That there is a, and I had to come to my own terms with God and God presence. If divine or universal love or something works better for you, exchange it, because that's exactly what they are referring to. And they referred to God in the I Am discourses, is that's the empowered one within. And honestly, for me now, I do use that word really interchangeably. I had my own kind of issues with that for a while as a stumbling block of, I didn't really, there was such a charge on that word, God presence or God for me. But now it's just, to me, it really is universal divine love. So many are coming to understand the divine within themselves, the God presence within themselves, the absolutely invincible, right? When we realize that the empowered presence comes from inside of us, not from outside, when we start to really not only intellectualize that, because even on our spiritual journey, as we awaken, we start to understand these concepts, but it's different to understand it and have the book learning versus I have a known experience of this. I understand it. I see it, right? So there is a difference in that, very much so. So, it's as the more of us realize that there's a presence within that's much bigger and grander than the experience of what we think is real outside of us, then we're in that empowered presence of co-creation. We are invincible. We are unshakable. And we are raised above injustice, discord, and harmony of the outer creation. So they're very much talking about lifting off the game board, right? Many shows I brought in the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening, that Sri Kira brought through, that is so powerful. I'm going to see if I can pull it up because I just love this as an example while we talk. And I love my new monitor. It's so much easier to see things while I'm on here. Give yourself the gift of the things of density that help your work here. They are tools for a reason. Okay, so let's see. Oh, interesting. It's like it's not giving me an option to share it. I'm not going to fuss with it much longer, but let's see. Yeah, well, that'll be interesting because it's a new monitor and I don't know how to pull up my share now, even though it should do it. So the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening, those of you that know, just charts out the evolution that we all go through being here in density. And it shows that there's 4 layers to the pyramid, like a cake. And the first layer is the ego layer that we're all born into, the base of the pyramid. So that's where, we really start to just be in form and embody. That's where everyone starts. And that's the game board that they're talking about here, to raise above the injustice, the discord, the inharmony, that by lifting out of the ego is the only way to do that. The ego's invested in the outside world. The ego's invested in the 9 to 5. The ego is not into consciousness and lifting until it learns to feel safe with that process. And that takes it some time. So, it's like that whole pyramid of spiritual awakening have to lift off the game board in order to ascend, in order to get out of the illusion. And the disharmony, the discord, the injustice, all of that melts away into the backdrop when we realize from our multidimensional presence that it just is the illusion. It's not us, it's not real. And in the second paragraph here, until I'll say humankind or individuals hold their attention on the I am presence, God within, long enough and with sufficient determination, they'll find themselves surrounded by the undesirable. So when the focus is on the density world, I'll call it the 9 to 5 world because that's our theme today, right? On the illusion itself, there won't be that that connection, that ability to lift off. You'll be always engrossed in the game board, in who's winning and losing. It will be all about right and wrong and all of those emotions that live in density. So until enough people can really lift themselves into the I am presence, we're going to be in this undesirable state of the world that we look around it. But through the I am presence, I am the most powerful words we utter, the co-creator, right? Each one has the power to raise above themselves, above the discord, above the disturbance outside in the outer creation. Again, that's Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening. Go learn about it, read about it, ShriAndKira.com. Official Shri and Kira YouTube, Google it. Check out my show like 2 weeks ago. We did a lot of talking about that. And they go on to share some more I do want to share here. But that I am presence, the God presence within, is the absolute essence of who you are. Like, it's that moment of transcendence. It says there's something more happening behind the fabric of what I'm seeing. And we have to condition ourselves and learn to actually trust ourselves and what we're, who we are, and that there's more happening behind the thoughts, the emotions, the illusion that we have subscribed to for so long. It's very magnetic. It's very sticky. Thank you. I'm just seeing all the love. Hi, Purple. Hi, Batya. Hi, Gary. You know, Gary, I love what you share there, that you've been working for a company that you worked at 4 years ago, Gary is sharing. And he says, then I was the only one talking about the shift that we're in right now. And now all but one is waking up. What a big difference. So going from being the only person at the company that might talk about anything we're talking about here, and being the crazy one, right, to many, many, many talking about it. You know, that is so incredible. Hey, Seeker, Truth. I'm so happy you're listening from the kitchen. How wonderful. Yes, beautiful. Beautiful Batya. I feel in my bones. This is the golden age or the Aquarius. I notice so many kids are tuned in. I agree. Like the younger people are absolutely receiving and more awake, and many of them are being born to more awake parents. It really is so beautiful. And it really is, these kids, they are carrying frequencies. They don't have as much stuff to work through. They're coming in born with a lot less um, baggage that they have to navigate. They're coming in with a lot less issues or problems that they have to go through, because a lot of us did a lot of the lineage breaking and work. Not that they're not going to still have their stuff, but a lot of them just have less of it. And a lot of them are actually safer to be conscious and be who they are. Many more of them are feeling safe to be seen and are being born because they can be. So it's very exciting. I love talking about that. You know, and the next section of the I am discourses, after those two paragraphs, you know, speaks to this, how we lift up and above. At first, it does take determination to hold fast when the seeming storm clouds hang low and the outer appearance seems overwhelming. But with a dynamic, conscious attitude and the attention fixed upon the presence of God within, it is like the lightning flashing forth from within the storm clouds, penetrating and dissolving the storm that seems so threatening. You know, so to me, this paragraph, and I wrote in the margin, is all about, oh, look at, I even wrote the date. Monday, April 12th, 2021. That's when we first read this passage. April 12th, 2021. So it was a year and some change ago. Just notice that. And, you know, when I read this next paragraph, I jotted down the steadfast commitment, focused awareness, the foundation of the yoga of self-ascension. The yoga of self-ascension will help you pop out and through the illusion and when you are feeling stuck or tied in. So it does take determination to hold fast when the storm clouds hang low and outer appearances seem overwhelming. That is the steadfast commitment that says, I'm going to keep seeing it no matter what. I'm going to keep my eyes on the divine. I'm going to keep looking for the divine. I'm going to keep doing my practices. I'm going to keep doing what supports me to remember that I'm not the illusion, right? And the storm clouds, I mean, right now, talk about storm clouds in the world. It can be overwhelming when you look at what is happening in the world of form around us. And that does not mean just because we're in an illusion that it's not terrible, the things that are happening inside of here. I mean, it is real, beings hurting beings. And at the same time, of course, it's this co-created illusion we all are in. However, it's not okay. It's not like spiritual bypass, like that doesn't bother us. However, if we focus right on the outer appearances and the storm that's there, we just see the storm. We just see the chaos and we get sucked into it and we don't help it that way. You know, that's an Archangel Zadkiel 101 from Sacred Union, The Journey Home. Read that book or reread it if you haven't read it in a while, by Sri and Kira, and you can get it on Amazon still. I have definitely got to plug in my laptop, which is running my monitor because it's going to die. There we go. So, you know, it's sorry, that was distracting. So it's really easy to get stuck at looking at the storm and become part of it and forget ourselves. So it is the steadfast commitment of like, I'm going to keep looking, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep gazing at what's beyond. The dynamic conscious attitude and attention fixed upon the presence of God within. That's our multidimensional presence. That's the fact that we are a divine being with a form while we're here. And really to keep our focus, that's the focused awareness, eyes on the divine, on your divinity at all times. That's like the lightning flash. I love this analogy, right? The lightning that flashes from within the storm clouds, penetrating and dissolving the storm that seems so threatening. And if you have the I am discourses or you want it, oh boy, there it is, right? This is the I Am Discourses, Ascended Master Saint Germain from the Saint Germain Press. And I'm on page 139 in this edition that comes from Discourse 12. It's about 2 pages in, if you are interested in knowing. So the lightning that flashes from within the storm clouds, that's our focused awareness. Look at the light. Look to the light. Look at the eyes on the divine at all times. And it penetrates that threatening storm by keeping our focus on our divine mastery presence, right? This is what this whole year is about. This is what August is about. Divine mastery presence. Divine mastery presence. Keeping your eyes on that divine at all times. All times. There's every reason to stop looking, and that will try to weave you into a forgetfulness. Oh my gosh, I figured it out. I'm just excited about that, guys. Now I know how to do a screen share with this setup. So that's amazing. So this was the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening I was referencing earlier, right? When we're here in this density consciousness, yes, we can always lift up. And this is a overlay graphic where all these portals are overlaid. And it's by looking to the light. It's there. It's always present, even down here in density consciousness, right? Look to the light. Look up. Look to the light. Keep the eyes on the divine. That's what helps you lift up into ascension consciousness and your multidimensional presence, right? That's the key. So that's what dissolves those storm clouds that are so threatening. So maybe when you catch yourself in that moment of being, you're like, oh my God, I was so sucked into the drama around me and invested in what was going on, whether it's like in a personal interaction or it's watching the news or something like that, that you absolutely were like, oh my gosh, I got sucked right in. I got stuck there. Remember, eyes on the divine, look for the light. Look for the light within the storm, the lightning strikes, so that they may dissolve the storm. As one advances, they find themselves becoming more and more invincible to this outer creation of mankind, which brings such distress. Yes, the 9 to 5. I didn't plan to read this I Am Discourses today. If you're just tuning in, this was propping up my new keyboard at my new workstation while I'm trying to figure out and finesse things. And it just was like, I think I need to be opened and read. And we opened to this segment, and it's too perfect. You have got to love it. So as one advances, as you keep practicing, you will become more and more unshakable. You'll be invincible. The outer creation, we all created this illusion together, but it will have less charge and keep you stuck in it or suck you in much less easily. You will be eventually in that ascension consciousness at the top of the pyramid of spiritual awakening, where you know the truth of who you are and nothing can shake you. The density just has no effect anymore at that point, right? And that's the goal. Most of us that are walking this path have managed to pump through into ascension awareness, but to really live in ascension consciousness it does take the steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust. And that's where I see the complete trust come through in the I am discourses. These are like the layovers of yoga of self-ascension, right? Yoga of self-ascension, steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust are the foundation. They are the steps to holding a strong foundation and staying outside of the illusion and lifting yourself into your truth and co-creating an experience, and the outer world gets to reflect from your connection to source. Imagine when we co-create the outer world from that sense of like our knowing empowered source versus from our fears, jealousy, corruption, everything that lives in that bottom of the pyramid where the world's been creating from, or the spiritual activism realm, which is even more dangerous, really, even though it's a step up in the pyramid of spiritual awakening. Now we have us versus them, and egos arrange around topics and go to battle with others around different topics and whatever. It's just density on steroids at that point, and that's a step. That's a step in the evolution. I've been an activist. We've all have to go through it, and sometimes we find ourselves there, and it's just being honest with ourselves when we find ourselves dipping down. There's nothing wrong with it. It's natural. This co-created illusion is super strong. Have mercy on yourself. And we're doing things we've never done before. We are doing things that we didn't even think were possible several years ago. And here we are doing it. It's amazing. We are co-creating a new world, a new paradigm, one awakened being at a time. It takes just enough of us. Not everyone needs to buy into co-creating this new existence. And in fact, we need the density experience to be what it is to propel those that are ready to break free. It is what propels us to break free. And not everyone's going to do it at once. So, I love what is shared here. It's like you are invincible to the distress, the great distress, the storms, and Saint Germain itself brings forward a statement of Jesus. And I love Yeshua. I love Jesus, right? Know the truth, capital T, and the truth shall make you free. The truth of your being. This was perhaps one of the simplest and greatest truths to ever be uttered. For the first fundamental of knowing this great truth to which he referred was to know that you have within you this invincible presence of God. If you know that and are certain of it within your own consciousness, I mean by that standing with the firm determination in the face of everything, then you know you do have the presence within. That's the complete trust, right? He's talking about the complete trust, that you know it. You trust completely in your divinity. You know you're this invincible source. No matter what comes in front of you, you have the divine presence within navigating. And nothing can shake you then. And if things are still shaking you, great. That means you have somewhere else and you have a guidance actually about where to look, like what's shaking you up, what has got your attention, right? What has distracted you? What is it that you fear? And you use that as the catapult and the portal to lift again, just by becoming aware, like, oh, I had an ego blip. Oh, I was being completely controlled by the illusion. I gave over my power. I'm going to take it back now and remember and lift again. And you can just, honest to God, laugh at it. But it's so sophisticated. It's so very sophisticated, right? Here's that multidimensional witnesser created by Master Lady Kira Ra, right? We have the third dimension down here. That's the density field. That's where we're all playing in the earth field. That's where our body of form is. Then you have the fifth, the witnesser, that's holding its big wings and arms open around the experience of the third dimension. That this fifth dimensional compassion and love and beingness is holding the experience of the third. What we're learning to do now, if we are inclined to do so, is to anchor in the seventh dimensional witnessing. Many beings now talk about the fifth dimension. This is in fact a buzzword. And in fact, it's becoming very charged because even in the awakening and consciousness movement, now there are groups that are using that as a portal to actually perpetuate more of the illusion through the idea that they're awakened. It's bananas out there. It's bananas. Stick with us here. I promise you, we're not selling you snake oil. Oh my God. The seventh, witnessing. This is a lot of beings don't talk about this now. Most beings think the fifth dimension is the goal. There's many more. There's more beyond the ninth. We're even learning to like get into this ninth dimension here in 2022. The seventh is very open. It's very alive, and it's very much the witnesser. Witnessing the witnesser, right? But this very much clarity, no judgment, opening. We've been training to lift there. The fifth dimension is the waiting room. We are this multidimensionally presence being of crystalline light. And as you move up, you're just more and more crystalline. And any time you can remember this and command your energy from this place versus it coming from the third and being, and in that case, you're just in the game board. You will never get off. You will always strategize. It's like, the beings that want to sell you the idea that you're awakened and awoke because you're in the fifth dimension and now everything's fine, but there's still all this judgment living there. There is people that get there in the fifth dimension and carry a lot of judgment, and it's eroding. It's a very sticky place. It's very sticky. There's many opportunities and pitfalls to pull us off of our path. And really the key is, how do you know if somebody's sharing information with you that's, not true or, not of the highest? Is, Archangel Zaghel talks about this one in Sacred Union, the journey home also. It's like, notice how you feel when somebody's sharing information with you. If you're out there listening to a lot of different people sharing things, you might be exposing yourself to somebody that's really claiming they're in that more lifted, aware presence, but they really very much are spiritually active, and they're inviting you into a group think that's still governed by ego. And in fact, it gets so much sneakier in spiritual communities and language, because the ego takes the spiritual language, it learns, and it takes and applies it to its experience. And now it says, well, I'm awake. And it's the ego saying, I'm awake. I know the way. And it's such a discernment. So how do you know? First of all, 6 spiritual essentials from Sri and Kira. Follow one path for a year. Give yourself the gift of one path. Stop watching 10 different people and their takes on what's happening. Stop. Pick a teacher and path that resonates with you. Maybe that's yoga of self-ascension. I would love it to be that, because I love the path of yoga of self-ascension, which really is non-dogmatic and says every path is a pathway to God. And it really is just about supporting you to lift into your truth in every step in every way, and respects every path, right? But, what resonates for you, find a teacher and a path and just stick with it. Because you will keep fracturing your energy, and you will get pulled around, because your ego will start saying, I need other information. Let me go look here. Things aren't seeming to work the way I want. Let me go look there. And you are robbing yourself the opportunity to do the deep dive and the work and really truly lift by doing that. So I really encourage you to get serious about, bringing your information in from really one source that resonates with you and sticking with that. It's very easy to be hypnotized right now. The hypnosis is stronger than maybe it's been. And so many are stuck there, and that's okay. They're doing what they need to do. However, whenever we go in there and we get ourselves a little dirty, if you play with a pig in the mud, you are going to get muddy. That's one of my favorites too. I remember where that came from. That was somebody that taught about healing from abusive relationships. Oh gosh, what was her name? Well, I'll remember it later. But it's like, if you're going to go roll with a pig in the mud, expect to get dirty, right? So that's density experience, baby. It's like, going to go roll in the mud, you will get dirty. And you can clean up, and you can learn, and you can grow, and you can lift. And every time you do it, it hones your mastery, presence, and discernment. We can't get by in this world without ever getting affected or ever having a human moment. Even Shri and Kira, our mentors and leaders, have those moments. The Dalai Lama has those moments. Everybody living here, because they have a body and a mind of form, is going to have a moment. Have mercy on yourself. It's like we're not going to get to a point where you're never affected again. The mastery presence happens when you recognize it and lift out of it, right? So the next step, going back to the I am discourses, as you're standing in your firm determination, they talk about the next step where you take your stand. And I wrote here again too, this is the aligned action. This is the passionate action that comes then from the steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust, is that you take a step, you take your stand. I am the illumining, revealing presence, and no outer activity that I need to know can be withheld from me, because I am the wisdom. I am the perception. I am the revealing power, bringing everything before me that I may see and understand and be able to act accordingly. That's an empowered place to come from. I am the revealing power, bringing everything before me, versus just looking around and taking in what's there in front of you from the illusion. I am the revealing power, bringing everything before me. It is so easy once you understand that I am the only intelligence and presence acting. To see how you have the scepter within your own hands. And through this I am presence, you can compel everything you need to know to be revealed to you. I assure you, this is not in any way interfering with the free will of any other individual. It is time that the children of God who are looking to the light awaken to this dominion. I assure you, it is not wrong nor mistake to claim and demand your own. In doing this, you're not in any way interfering with any other individual, right? That's like a lie of the illusion too, that commanding your presence and co-creating the world from your mastery presence could ever be a way to manipulate or do anything else. It is your birthright to command your energy. It's your birthright to command your light. If at any time there are those who through their own outer activity attempt to take from you that which belongs to you, then it is your right to command through the I am presence that the whole condition be adjusted and your own brought to you. So if somebody's ever trying to take from you, it's your right to command through your I am presence that the whole condition be adjusted and your own be brought to you. We are that powerful. In this, we must be very careful that when we have set the divine law into motion and divine justice begins to take place, that we do not become oversympathetic and thereby interrupt the action of the law, because we could, because if somebody's consequences come back at them, you have to, if you step back in and start to feel sorry for them, you're going to disrupt the entire flow and go back into the density, right? When human beings are governed entirely by the outer self, which that is 99.999% of the world, right here we are the 0.001%, and that's all it really takes, is enough of us. We don't have to all get there. But when human beings are governed entirely by the outer self, and they have no consideration for the power of God, which gives them life, they are easily led to commit any kind of injustice. I mean, we see this all the time, right? It justifies you committing any act of injustice. But does that mean in any sense that you shall allow them to do it in your world? Not when you know that you have the mighty power of God within to command and demand right and justice from everywhere. It's a very, I would encourage you to go back and pick this book up. I feel like I'm going to be spending some more time. Not that I haven't, you can see on my little tabs, but things circulate in and out of our awareness. And I feel like it's definitely has spoken that it wants to come off the shelf and be looked at again more closely. There was a time where every morning I sat with this, and that may be coming back. What do you like sitting with in the morning? What is your favorite thing to help you remember who you are? Namaste, Akil. Namaste. I'm so grateful you are here. And, if you've had a rough couple weeks, thank yourself for showing up now and being here now. It is going to get easier. We're all going through a lot of moments, and the more you can, everything we're talking about today, step into your I am commanding presence, the more you can lift out of that and love yourself more and use your tools and everything else. Bati, I love that you have the book and you feel more than ever to dive back into it. It came forward today for us, and those of you out there that are tuning in today, I Am Discourses wanted to come out. I agree, Yvonne, the timing for this discussion being perfect. Honestly, I am going with this flow of spirit, and it seems spot on. Everything I'm sharing today is so incredible. It's for me as well. We all need this. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, what else is being shared here? Oh, thank you, Gary. Witnessing through Lynn why women have been done the way they have been done. You are angels. Anyone tells you different, they are lost. Many are lost. Many are lost. Hi, Sacred Grace. Welcome. Namaste. Oh, I'm just seeing so much like love in the chat and that things are resonating for people. And I'm just so grateful to see that. And I love, Pauline, that you said your grandgirls are so awake. Seeing more of that, it's so positive to see that with the young ones and to feel so fulfilled. Like, to me, when I see a young child who is encouraged to speak their truth or to even speak, period, that times have shifted. It's no longer just be silent or you have nothing to offer if you're this child, right? It's like more and more, not all the time, but more and more, we are listening to the children, and they have so much to share with us, and they know so much, So, yeah, it's a crazy ride here, you guys. It's this world of form the illusion will do anything to pull you off track, and this background today, with the streaming light that's coming in right through the star field, is like, that's the place to go. That's the focused awareness, to just go through the illusion. And the tractor beam, on the other hand, it's talked about in the golden ray training a lot. Archangel Uriel is like this tractor beam that is the density experience that says it just pulls you in. It's magnetic. It's very easy to get sucked in. Victim consciousness is so alive. The energy of, who did me wrong? I'm mad, or I feel justified, or I need to find a partner in pain to go talk to about this. That's alive and well. That's here, and it's not going to go away quite yet, because it's fighting tooth and nail, and it's very disturbing if you spend too much time looking at the density circus that it is. Even if you think you're just like watching it from an ascended perspective, the ego's lying to you too. It's going to have an effect. Even if you're like, oh, okay, I'm being ascended, but I'm looking at this terrible news, or I'm engaging with people that are, forgetful too. It's like the whole analogy again, if you go roll around with the pig in mud, you're going to get muddy. You just can't not end up getting that way. So that's why your practices, like the container practice, go read about that at shriankira.com. The container practice is one of the most powerful ways you can clear and dispel some of that mud out of your energy field. And it's just everyday maintenance. Like, you wouldn't just skip brushing your teeth or washing up because you're like, oh, I don't really need to anymore. I understand what being clean is. You still need to do those things, right? So there's these incredible practices that help us to discharge. The container practice is one of the most powerful ones you can activate in order to clear your energy field and move forward. And and feel that connection to yourself again. Of course, there's other ways to support clearing your field. Make sure you're doing it. It's like hygiene, it's like taking care of your energy body, because sometimes it creeps up on you and you don't even totally realize. Um, hey, Akil, a way to connect with me for more support, go over to, I love that. I would love to connect with you, sweetheart. Go to selfascensionstudios.com. You can grab a 15-minute discovery call if you want, and we will get on Zoom or a WhatsApp call, whatever is easiest, and connect and see how I can support you there. And I also, though, of course, really suggest you get to shreeandkira.com, and track with what's going on in just a few more days. On Saturday, a lot is going to be revealed. There's going to be a lot more support again that they love to offer us that's going to be coming in. So there's a lot of exciting things and support over there. You know, I really recommend going and grabbing an ensoulment from their ensoulment library. There's an entire free library of ensoulments that I just pick from random when I'm having a moment. And you will pick the one that has the message you need at that time. It's like the most incredible free support that you can ever be a part of, you know. So you can absolutely check out my site and see what I have to offer there. I don't have a lot of time for private clients, but I still do love to do that work, amongst every other, busy, beautiful thing that's all happening with the base on self-ascension. So I love nothing more than supporting people on their journeys and their growing and coming forward. And hey, go over to selfascensionstudios.com and get on my newsletter. I do a full moon ceremony every month. It's free and by donation. Another awesome way. Get into Mastery Mondays. Be there Monday night with Shree and Kira, and go watch on YouTube their last show, or their last the premiere Mastery Presence Monday, like the up level. We actually live streamed it to the world, and you can see it at Shree and Kira's YouTube. And there's a really powerful attunement at the completion of that would really support you. So I hope that helps you. And I'm glad you asked, because other people are probably asking that are tuning in live or listening to the recording how they might support themselves as well. And yeah, beautiful. I hope to speak to you soon as well. Thank you, Gary. I agree. Children are a trip right now. My grandkids are nothing like my kids. It's awesome to be here to witness all this change for the better happening on every level, it seems. You know, it's like I get goosebumps. It's like, look for the positives. It's like what we look at, right? It's like where our focus goes, and that's where what expands. You know, what we focus on expands. And when we see these beautiful beings and children and nurture them, and and forgive ourselves too, because we've always done the best we could with our own children given our circumstances. But just seeing like these beautiful grandchildren, the babies coming in, that's the vision I hold when I am really thinking about where I'm going and why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's hard, guys. It's not easy to take this path. It's very easy to just say, no, thank you. I will stay asleep in the illusion. Like, no, thank you. I want nothing to do with that. I'm not even looking for it. It's so easy to stay asleep, even though it's absolutely torture and hard, because you know what it's like to just be totally in that place where you are just constantly governed by the outside world. The 9 to 5 has its hold on us. You know, it's miserable, really, being controlled from outside of ourselves and not empowered. But we don't know what we don't know till we do, right? But when we really realize that empowerment comes from within and we can shift the outside, it's like, yeah, it's amazing. And it takes the steadfast commitment. That's no joke. It takes that steadfast commitment and saying yes again and again and again. You all, I am an open book. I'm never going to act like I've got it all together, whatever that means in the world of density, right? But I have my moments. I have moments that just my ego whispers all kinds of things to me. And if it wasn't for the yoga of self-ascension and all the gifts and tools that come forward from it, it would be very easy to succumb. That's why we have the tools. That's why we have the practices. That's why they're called practices, because you're practicing to remember your multidimensional presence. And the more of these beautiful beings that are young, that are born, that are given the love and attention so that they can remember themselves, and the more of us that awaken and remember, hold that. When I hold that and I hold the vision of my great 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 grandkids, that's what keeps me going. Is like, find out what keeps you going, but that keeps me going when I'm like, they deserve a world where we have co-created, from the beauty of our divinity. They deserve that. They deserve a healed planet. They deserve to know what trees are, and have clean air and live, and know what an elephant is, and that keeps me going. Sometimes we need those reminders or checkpoints of like, eyes on the divine. What works for you? What works for you when you look and see beyond the illusion? Eyes on the divine at all times. And it really will support you in every way. So I am so grateful to spend this time with all of you. I'm so very uplifted and fulfilled every time we're together. I'm Jess Gentinin again. For those of you that maybe joined later in the hour, Soul Fusion Cafe here on Tuesdays at noon Eastern time. And it's always an incredible time to share with you. I'm so very grateful and look forward to the next time that we are all together once again. Take care. Much love, many blessings. Have an incredible day. Namaste. You've been listening to Soul Fusion Cafe with Jess Gentinin. Connect with Jess and learn more at her inspiration hub, selfascensionstudios.com, and over on Instagram at JoyLoveJess and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio, or over at Facebook at Self-Ascension Studios and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Namaste and many blessings.